Tonight, I'll take you into a story that isn't just a tale, but a chilling account that once terrified a traveler on a lonely night. This is the last room at Brookhaven Motel, and once you check in, you may never check out. It was late October in a small, rainy town off the highways of Pennsylvania. The kind of night where fog clung to the ground like a living thing, and the street lamps flickered as if they were gasping for life. Michael, a 32-year-old traveling salesman, was driving back from a long trip. His GPS had failed hours ago, and with his phone battery dead, he felt trapped in endless back roads. Then, through the mist, a neon sign glowed red like an omen. Brookhaven Motel, vacancy. Relieved, Michael pulled in. The parking lot was half empty, but strangely, every single car was covered in a layer of dirt and dust, like they hadn't been moved in years. The front office light was on. Inside sat an old woman behind the counter, her eyes pale and milky, as though she hadn't truly seen anyone in decades. "You're lucky," she rasped. "One room left, room 6. Michael paid cash, uneasy but exhausted, and took the brass key. He didn't notice the way her smile twitched unnaturally, as though she were trying to hide something behind it.
Room 6 smelled faintly of mildew and something metallic. The wallpaper peeled like old scabs, and a single painting hung crookedly above the bed, a dark forest with shadows between the trees, shadows that seemed to move if you stared too long. Michael tried to brush off the unease. He took a shower, but halfway through, the lights began to flicker. The water turned ice cold, and for a brief second, he swore he heard whispering, a man's voice, low, muttering behind the running water. He shut it off. Silence. But when he wiped the fog from the bathroom mirror, there were handprints. Behind him, small, wet handprints sliding down the glass. Michael spun around. No one there. Unable to sleep, he left the TV on for background noise. Static. He flipped channels, but every single one showed the same thing, a grainy recording of room 6, his room, from different angles. And on the screen, behind him in the bed, was a figure sitting. Michael froze, breath shallow. He turned his head slowly toward the bed. Nothing there. The TV crackled, and the figure leaned closer to the camera. Its face was blurry, features distorted, like melted wax. Then, in a voice that rattled through the speakers, "You shouldn't be here." Michael yanked the plug out of the speaker. Darkness swallowed the room. And then, 3 soft knocks at the door. Knock, knock, knock. He whispered to himself, "Don't answer, don't answer." But the door handle began to turn anyway, slow, deliberate, as if whoever was outside already had the key. Michael bolted out of bed, grabbed his car keys, and flung the door open to run. The hallway stretched impossibly long, far longer than the motel could physically be. Every few steps, the lights buzzed overhead, and he noticed something horrifying. Each door he passed had numbers scratched out, smeared in what looked like dried blood. But the worst part? Out of every room, faint whispers seeped through, crying, pleading, sometimes screams. Room 4, room 7, room 9. Behind every door, someone sounded trapped. He ran faster, but the hallway kept stretching. Finally, he saw the exit sign glowing red ahead. Salvation! When he reached it and shoved it open, he was back in room 6. The painting above the bed now showed him, standing in the hallway looking terrified. The whispering grew louder. Michael turned and saw them. Figures emerged from the corners of the room, pale, lifeless, their eyes wide with sorrow. Men, women, even children. Their clothes were decades old, some in business suits, others in nightgowns, all faded and stained. They surrounded him silently, and one stepped forward, a woman with black hair, dripping as if she had drowned. She raised her hand and pointed at him. "You're one of us now," she whispered. Michael screamed, sprinted for the door again, and threw it open, but instead of the parking lot, he stumbled into the motel office. The old woman was still behind the counter, only now she wasn't alone. Behind her stood dozens of those same pale figures watching. "You checked in," the old woman said, her voice layered with echoes. "And no one ever checks out."
The next morning, a truck driver pulled into Brookhaven Motel, desperate for rest. The parking lot looked abandoned, overgrown with weeds. No neon sign, no lights, just a derelict building falling apart. Still, the front door was unlocked. Inside, the reception desk was covered in cobwebs, dust inches thick. And there, on the wall, hung a framed photograph of Michael. His face pale, eyes lifeless, standing among the other lost souls of room 6. The truck driver shivered, turned, and ran back to his vehicle. But as he glanced in his side mirror, he froze. For just a second, he thought he saw Michael sitting in the back seat, smiling. So, the next time you're driving late at night and you see a lonely motel glowing in the mist, remember Brookhaven. Some rooms don't just hold guests, they keep them forever. If this story sent chills down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment with your scariest hotel or travel experience, and of course, subscribe to Whispering Image, because the next whisper might be for you.